Prediction?
Yes, prediction.
Pain.
We run the clock. Super 16 is the cream of the crop. College football time of year don't stop.
We're adding this guy.
Just another go dome with the courage, heart, skill, and will. Bringing you the best 16. Serving up a plate for the football fiends. Breaking the best 16 college teams. Football fans, it's the show with your dreams.
Ain't no bias. Chris Zorich breaking truth. Traded in the golden helmet in the past for a suit. With the take, never lie. College ball, he's a stoop. Breaking the top 16, not the top 32.
I don't mean to cut you off like a Zorich jersey, but you ain't really grinding unless the jersey dirty. Hit the running back like a Mack truck behind the 30-yard line. It's game time. My team riding off the sideline.
You look at Chris like this with a fact checklist, going over college teams like a 50 scientist. Steve streaking from his head like in his playing days. Super 16 polls on the show straight away.
It's the FBS, the best of the best from the ACC to the SEC. Pac-12, Big 10, Mountain West, Sun Belt, and the Big 12. Open your eyelids, who the best like the clock. Super 16 is the cream of the crop. College football time of year don't stop. With Christopher Zorich, just another go dome with the courage, heart, skill, and will. Bringing you the best 16. Serving up a plate for the football fiends. Breaking the best 16 college teams. Football fans, it's the show with your dreams.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Super 16 Poll Show, Week 4 of the college football season. Although there were some losses and some top teams, it was very exciting. We saw a couple teams go down. One I didn't think was going to go down, but actually went down. And then actually we have some folks that actually one new person in the Super 16 poll. But before we get started, I'd like to thank the folks at the National Football Foundation and the Football Writers America Association because they gave me this opportunity to share with you my top 16 and my awesome and wonderful mentor and sidekick, Philatoshian. Wow, here we go. Okay.
Hey,
how are you, sir?
Put him over there. He's the All-American.
Oh, that's right. I am. I forgot about that.
Three-time All-American. I always say two-time.
I like it.
I like the bigger look on this show, so I could see.
Yes.
Especially as I get old, Cherie, with these my glasses. My shoes fell off. I can't find my glasses. Have you ever heard the Jerky Boys, Chris?
Like when I was 10, I think, 12 or something like that.
Don't belittle it. You were like 30.
Yes, and they were like making crank calls and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, see?
Exactly.
I used to have fun back in the day.
You had it on cassette back then.
Wow.
That's the thing.
Okay. All right. So now
Super 16 Poll Show with Chris Zorich.
There you go.
I love Big Zo. Did you have a lot of nicknames as a young?
You know, it's funny. As a kid, I did not.
No,
it's just funny. Just nothing stuck. And I think because I was really timid and shy as a kid, so I really wasn't outgoing or gregarious or anything like that. But when I got to college, for some reason, it was tough pronouncing Zorich for some people.
Yes.
So Barry Alvarez. No, actually, it was Foge Fazio. He was the defensive coordinator my first year.
Foge Fazio. Yes. I remember that name.
And he called me Zorro, and it kind of stuck. And then after that, guys just like called me Z or whatever. So that was the extent of my nickname, either Zorro or just one letter. So,
Z, Zorro,
yes.
Zorich.
There you go.
Right.
Nothing
tonight,
too crazy, but,
Speaking of crazy, you might hear some crazy in the background. My sons, if you could hear them, I apologize.
Nice.
It's been a rough day at the Atoshian house. My wife.
It's called live TV. This is what happens, man.
Listen, we're live, man. We're
Yes,
gonna do
are.
it live.
Go! We gotta do it live.
We're also gonna have a lot of fun breaking down the best game in the world. the game of football, college football, the NFL. Tonight you got Monday Night Football.
Yes.
Football's everywhere as we get going through this season. I can't believe it's week 4 of this show.
Honestly, I
already.
think there's something in the air because, like, football season, there's a certain smell for me.
There's
that
a certain smell. I totally know.
Realize that, hey, it's football season.
That fresh cut grass.
It's I don't know what it is, man. And then
the autumn wind.
I like that. When I've gone over to the practice facility at Notre Dame,
yes,
there's just this certain. Now this is kind of crazy because my last time playing there was like 30-something years ago, but it's still the same smell, which is crazy.
It's
the same smell.
Listen, in life, as I get older, I think it even more is pronounced. It's music and smell for me that take me back to childhood and whatever. Yeah, some visual stuff. Like today, there was a Bradley, some throwback for the Atari. The Atari is here, $137.
Wow.
Which back then was probably like $400, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And of course, in my neighborhood, like only the really cool kids had it.
Yeah.
And like literally you'd be looking through the window at like Pong going, boom,
oh
boom,
yeah.
Boom.
Yes, I remember that was my best Christmas of all time.
Nice.
When my dad pulled the Red Ryder BB gun skit before it was even produced. Me and my sister were so disappointed there was no Atari. And then my dad's like, wait a second, I see a present there.
You guys are like, oh, eyes were like, what?
You would have thought we won the Super Bowl in that house. It was like, oh my God, I was in all my glory for combat and Pong.
Was that your favorite game?
No, but that's what came with.
I mean, the Atari thing, but I mean, that's like, well,
my favorite game.
What?
I loved Asteroids when it first came out. When you're just breaking it.
Go in a circle and
you go in a circle. You got to control yourself, man. You can't go too fast. So,
I remember playing that in an arcade. It just pissed, putting your quarter in there and going, damn it. Because if you hit it too hard, you go and you just crash into that.
You kept going. You were like weaving in and out like Barry Sanders.
Hello.
You had to have skill. My wife was a big Galaga player.
I love that too.
She's like a champion
Galaga
player. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she had we went to Myrtle Beach and we had a crowd around her as she kept going through these round 32. I'm like, damn. So yeah, she takes on people in Galaga. But now my sons are all into the Fortnite.
Right. It just changed a little bit. Now, there's a metaverse and now.
My son just downloaded that because I had bought them that a year or two ago.
Okay.
I got a special offer from Facebook. So I was like, let me try this out. Virtual reality. So today I bought my son that virtual football games. He's been playing it all day. He's like, this is amazing. This is like I'm playing.
Meanwhile, you used to Pong going, boop.
Yeah. How far has it come?
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
Speaking about how far has it come?
Yes. It's number 40. Oh my.
Wow. Wow. Thank you.
Those Bears.
Notre Dame won. Come on, man.
Notre Dame won and the Bears won, Chris.
How about that?
I've taken a lot of heat. You were there.
Yes.
Signing. Did you leave at half or did you stay?
I stayed. Come on, man.
I don't know. It's tough to get out of there, man. You got things you got to do.
Wow.
You ain't playing three technique.
It was fun, though. It was really fun.
Did you have a good time? Did anybody bring their TTNL hoodie for you to sign?
They didn't bring the hoodie, but I saw a couple Zorich jerseys, which I thought were extinct, but that's really cool.
There you go.
And this one dude, forgot his name, of course, but
we remember a name.
He told me he saved his money. He was 10 years old.
Yes.
He saved his allowance and got a real authentic like one of those really like a real jersey,
Real jersey
with the numbers stitched in and everything.
Yeah.
And I signed it. He went to an event, I signed it, and he was getting a little emotional because he was like, "Here's my daughter. This was her first Bears game. She had the jersey on, and she's 12, and I just want her to meet you." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
That's awesome."
That was so we want to.
I told you
stuff like that.
You meant a lot to a lot of people because you were the underdog that did.
Hey,
and that's why I think you love that in college football so much. But speaking of underdogs, the Chicago Bears, yes, they were victorious. But I keep it 100. I don't throw bouquets of flowers and roses around when offensively I think Justin Fields played horrific. I mean, it wasn't.
What do you have, like 100 yards, if that, or something like that?
Oh my God. I even forget the stat line because it's
good.
2 interceptions and I think it was 107 yards passing. I think that's what's the stat. It was like 8 out of 20. It wasn't good. I don't even care about stats. It wasn't good here in the eyeball test. Cherie's getting the stats up there. Fields, 8 of 17.
Oh, Lord, it was 106. Damn.
Yeah, I was right on there. 2 interceptions. But, a lot of people are in there. What do we say, Chris? They're getting upset with Shane and myself on BHL, by the way. Almost, I think, 9,000 views. I know we had at least 1,300 listeners live, but
great.
But the reality was you have to hold everyone accountable. We can't coddle. And I'm going to be perfectly honest. There was a built-in narrative for Mitch Trubisky because he started limited. He started limited, right? North Carolina. That isn't built in for Justin Fields. Justin Fields has been QB1 his whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So to go out there and look as dazed and confused as Dave Chappelle, right? The reality, you just can't look like that. You can't. I've defended this kid. I would have expected him to be a lot further. Am I giving up on him? By no means.
Sure.
But on that day, I felt like the coach had a responsibility. There was one person affecting the outcome of that game that you should have won.
Mm-hmm.
You ended up winning. It was Justin Fields.
Mm-hmm.
So after he throws the second no-look interception into triple coverage, it's time to pull him out of the game and say, hey, this is where a young quarterback has to learn.
Right.
If that can't be done here, and it wasn't the coaches making up excuses for him. Again, today, you don't exactly. I said it yesterday. I said it again. We don't come to the NFL to learn to play quarterback.
Right. But here's this question, though. What do you think would have been his mental state had he been pulled?
Well, I think because of his character, he would be embarrassed. Mm-hmm. Thus, if he is what Clay Harbor said, out going to the bachelor party, out taking it not as serious, whatever the case is, all I know as a competitor myself, I didn't like to be out of a rep in practice, right? Let alone have a coach sit me down for piss poor performance. It's no different than a pitcher, Chris. Right. Roger Clemens has been sat.
Right.
Think of the best. Mariano Rivera has been pulled from a game.
Right.
The greatest closer ever. Who is or how are you built? Mm-hmm. I know the Chicago Bears have not had great quarterback play in forever, right? Consistent. There shouldn't be a game against the Texans where we're winning the line of scrimmage and we can't find open receivers off action. They're wide open, Chris.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And it's not like, hey, He's got nowhere. Like, I'm not that narrative boy. You can't come at me with BS, and people get offended by that. And this has nothing to do with anybody's race. Doesn't have anything to do with anybody's belief, religion, whatever you're going to throw at me. It has to do with the position and the responsibility. You wake up when your coach benches you, or if he is soft and he cowers, Chris, he ain't the right guy to begin with. Right?
Get his ass out there. Right.
You're moving on from that because
Right.
you know what? Today wasn't your day. Maybe next week it is. Maybe this is the impetus. But to say you kept him out there, he did what he did, and this is the issue. My last issue. Like what Shane said, I've said it many a time. You don't go to the NFL, for God's sake, to learn to play quarterback. That is the dumbest. That's GM and bull BS talk. This is a family show. All right. Here's my last thing. The coach's responsibility at the end of the game isn't to coddle Justin.
Correct.
The fact that he did upsets me because there's not consistency. You've been in that locker room. I've been in a locker room. I knew that this quarterback didn't play well today. And if I saw my coach go out there and I'm busting my hump to get open on third down, I'm wide open, he misses it, right? He misses it again, and he misses it again, and he overthrows this guy. And coach, well, everybody's got to play better. We all messed up. No. Lead off with the elephant in the room.
Right.
Because Justin said it himself. That showed me a lot of character about him.
Sure.
So I'm saying you're going to lose the locker room culture that you're trying to build if you don't just go out there and say, that wasn't okay. Number one knows he's got to be better, and he will get better. That's it.
Right.
This isn't hard, but for some reason, we're tiptoeing around reality. And I'll keep saying it all week. No one's going to change me. You can say whatever it is you want about me, but I've been right every time about the coach, about the running backs, about the offensive lineman. I'm right about this. If Justin can't handle the spotlight when he needs to shine its brightest, then maybe he has to learn how to stand on the side. And what happens if Trevor Siemian goes out there and starts balling out? What happens then? Are we worried about Jay Cutler's feelings with Josh McCown balling out?
Right.
Yeah, they did. They ended up benching McCown, which was the wrong move.
Right.
We've seen this song and dance before. So by no means am I saying it's done. Justin's a bust.
Right.
He's on that day. Your job as a coach is to win the game. Justin was causing. You are not even. You just ran a draw for like 28 yards. You're at the 36 yard, whatever it was, right? 36 seconds left in the game, and you don't call timeout. That is, you're afraid that he's gonna make a mistake. That's crippling. That's crippling the team. It's crippling the fan base, and it just causes more questions than answers. Now, ultimately, you won the game, so a win, like Coach Holtz.
Yeah, exactly.
It covers all warts.
It covers everything. Yes, exactly.
All the warts are gone. What are you talking about, Phil?
We won. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Put Zorich at middle linebacker. We'll be good.
Oh God, I remember that. So one more thing.
Yes.
What about? Do we have an injury update on Montgomery?
Right now, day to day, it's an ankle, not a knee, as reported on the sideline. Eberflus said it's an ankle. So day to day could mean anything, because I don't like that kind of word play with injury. I get what they're trying to do, like an advantage versus an opponent. He believes in that. What are your thoughts on that as an former NFL player yourself?
I mean, we looked at it as it wasn't really a big deal. I mean, unless it's something like Barry Sanders, where you have to kind of change your whole game plan. I mean, at the end of the day, no one's practicing any differently because there's a different running back in there. I mean, or a different quarterback or whatever it is. So the idea that somebody's keeping it close to their vest and they're not saying anything, I think it's hilarious. And the idea that you're going to have to do a couple more reps because there's an option quarterback in there, or
Right.
it's a certain receiver. Okay, great. So you made me practice in half an hour more. I mean, does it at the end of the day, it doesn't make a difference? It does not.
Right. I agree. I'm just happy that it's not season ending. Obviously,
Absolutely.
Khalil Herbert went out there, balled out,
Mm-hmm.
and played a hell of a football game.
Yep.
Obviously, but like one of my buddies who played running back for the Bears said to me, "Imagine if David was out there, how many yards do?" Because that's the kind of runner he is. So,
Mm-hmm.
listen, it's not a shot at Herbert. It's just the reality of the truth. This kid is an elite runner. Now you got another guy that's in the game, that plays the game the way I like it. And Khalil really showed me a lot. Now, day to day, probably I don't see David playing next week, but this is the same guy I saw. I mean, did you see the injury, Chris? Did you happen to see it?
Yeah.
That was
Well,
bad.
they showed it a ton of time, and like literally everybody
Holy
in the whole place, it was quiet, silent.
Oh my God.
It was crazy.
When I saw it bend backwards,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh my God. But again, he did this in 2021, last season, against Green Bay. He gets bent awkwardly on the knee. I thought he was done, torn ACL, and he's out there 2 plays later. That's, I mean, he's built like a brick, you know what. So we'll see. You know, I'm glad they have Khalil Herbert in there. The other kid, Ebner, I have my concerns about. I mean, he gave me one nice rep, but as far as a kick returner, I mean, they got to find somebody else. This kid looks like he's running in quicksand. I've never seen anything like that. Like, oh no. But they pulled it off. The defense definitely improved their tackling.
Which I was excited about. I was like, oh,
Exactly.
They finally can actually tackle. See, again, going back to fundamentals, that's what happened.
Exactly. They went back to fundamentals. You see what they're going to do. And as they move forward in the season, I mean, they play the Giants next week. You get to see the Giants tonight, your upcoming opponent. I heard Robert Quinn. He was like, did you watch other teams that you were playing when you were playing?
I did not. I mean, we really didn't have any
TV.
time.
Yeah.
No, right. I mean, at the end of the day, what we felt that a lot of guys around the league, outside of Monday Night Football, but you're eventually going to see the game going over tape anyway. So why would you watch a game with announcers that have no idea what the hell they're talking about? And then 2 weeks later, you're in a film session watching Green Bay for 3 hours, making sure that you're picking up on their tendencies. So guys aren't really watching the games throughout the season. And the only reason why guys like Monday night games is because it's the only game in town. It's not necessarily for their peers, but it's for everybody else to have a chance to be excited about it.
That makes a lot of sense. And sometimes you just want to get away from football a little bit too.
At least, right. And so at the end of the day, you don't want to go home and watch a football game with, your possible opponent or something else like that.
I was spent yesterday. I did not watch San Francisco play last night. I went to bed.
See?
I passed out. I had so much going on in my brain in regards to college, this show, the Bears. When's the tape going to come out? When are we going to break this down? Could Justin Fields turn this around? Is it more than just him processing? Is he really seeing the field? Because it just seems, Chris, I mean, seriously, I've coached the game I've been around the game. It should be 1,000, 2, 1,000. I'm throwing the football. 1, I'm seeing this. I know it. Right now, he doesn't know it. He's not reading it well. He's missing wide open receivers. And then there's sometimes it's a breakdown on the offensive line. Sometimes it's a crappy play call. But at the end of the day, you as an NFL quarterback, I'm sure, think of any, just an average quarterback. Joe Flacco, he won a Super Bowl, right? Joe Flacco has had crappy play calls
Sure.
and found the alternate.
Mhm.
The whole job of a quarterback is to find the answer.
Right.
Find the answer. What's the answer? Because the coach can only do what? It's a chess match. We're calling, okay, 28 counter. Trips right, 28 counter. Trips right, 28 counter. Check with me. If it's not there, we're checking to another play. It could be a pass play, right? Check with me. So if he goes up to the line of scrimmage and calls pirate or whatever the key indicator was, pirate, staying with the play. We're running counter. They heard pirate on defense. Oh, he's checking. No, we stay. You always are tricking them. So there's all these things that are going on in his head, right? That he's got to be aware. Maybe he's just got the play. He can't check. I don't know. But the thing I've always said about the NFL, it goes back to my father and my uncle Sam Rutigliano. You either got it or you don't and need to get it fast or your career is over. Because that position, there's no patience. None. You can hide a shitty right guard till he gets a little stronger, right? You can hide a center that's not strong enough, right? We know about that. Quarterback, there's nowhere to hide.
That's tough, yeah.
It is very, very tough. So we can say, hey, he needs more weapons. Everybody's saying that about every team in the league. We need more weapons. He's played quarterback in Pee-wee, high school, college, and was renowned at the position all three. You can't come over here and tell me, okay, he can't. I put up a Texas route. It's just designed. All goes one-on-one, get him against the linebacker and throw it. He couldn't do it. That concerned me against the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can't wait to see this tape. Now sometimes the guys are getting blocked into him and he's got to make a play. I mean, that's part of football, man.
Right.
But your former teammate, Eric Kramer, said it on the show last week. He cannot read the defense, and that's the problem. So they have to do something to help him. He's offered his help. We'll see. We'll see what we have to do, but we'll see how it is. You know how I felt. You and I both felt about Mac Jones. Because I felt like there was anticipation throws all the time. It's not, and that gets people so upset. But I always go by my eye on the tape. I believe in Justin Fields. I think he could turn. The other thing, my father said it before anybody else said it. Don't mess with his throwing mechanics. He's thrown this way since he was a little kid. He's gotten it there.
It's worked. Right.
It's worked. So guess what they did?
They
messed with his mechanics.
Of course.
Do you think that has something to do with it? Yeah. So you can point a finger at whoever's messed with his mechanics and whatever. He's overthinking. That's the long rant on the Chicago, basically Justin Fields situation, because nobody's going to keep it real like we do. And I've been nothing but disappointed so far with our quarterback play. It didn't look good against San Francisco. Mm-hmm. It didn't look good against Green Bay. Right. And it looked worse against Houston. So you tell me. That's where we are.
Last thing, is there a Dave Kaplan countdown or?
Oh, we got two more.
We need an icon for that or something.
We do. Where's Ivan or Bratcher to get on that? They could start making maybe Russian Ronnie. Russian Ronnie could do it.
And what we're talking about, folks, is that Dave Kaplan, who's been a tremendous guest on Phil's show.
He's a friend. He's
friend of the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Made a comment and said that he's willing to spend like $100,000 on dinner for like everybody who comes to the restaurant that
He's
day.
Showing numbers. I love it. $100,000, baby.
And by the way, his famous thing, the number one thing on his resume is that when he was an assistant coach at Northern in what, 94, he beat, or
No,
they beat Notre Dame.
Yeah, he was a
In
college
basketball.
coach at the time,
Correct.
and they beat Notre Dame.
Right. And that's actually the first thing on his resume. So then
Lobster
after that.
and filet.
Yes.
Lobsters and filet. Surf and turf.
Love it.
Cap.
Love it.
We're 2 wins away.
2 wins. We can do
got
it.
till November 13th to pull this
I think
off.
we can do it. I think we can do it.
Oh, I love it. Anyway, that's where the Bears are now. There's some good things to build off. And yes, guess what? Angelo believes Cap's going to win the bet. But there's some good things to build off of. And you're only in week 3.
That's true.
So there you go.
But it's week 4 for the college football world.
Week 4. Do you want to kick it off with number 16?
I think we should. Let's kick it off with number 16.
Number 16, Oregon.
Thank God you didn't do number 47, which we all know was Notre Dame. So
they're moving up, Chris.
Well, as is Oregon, right? So
yes.
I don't know if you guys remember before preseason, they were up there in the rankings, and then they ran into a machine called Georgia and destroyed them, and wound up getting knocked out of the Super 16 poll. But they're making their comeback tour as they're actually playing good football. Bo Nix finally, I don't know if you remember that story. He was at, what was it, Auburn?
Transferred from Auburn, Chris.
Yes. And he grew up and a huge Auburn fan. Wound up committing to them early, just was in a great situation, didn't work out for him there, wound up transferring, and then literally did not do well the first game. And then everybody counted him out. But right now, I mean, he's actually over 1,100 yards passing, if you can believe that, in week 4. So he's actually thrown up some great numbers, and I think he's going to improve, which is why they're back in the mix, and their next game is going to be in Stanford, which I think they're actually going to do well against. So
Oregon back on the winning trail.
The
Ducks. They changed their uniforms more than Packer fan owners.
which you got to think about. I mean, like, when you think about mascots, like, who comes up with these things like the Chippewas or, like, you know, I mean, really, like, you want something that's like badass. You don't want like a duck, you know. But they've
Scrooge McDuck's you're not a fan?
I mean, come on, man. I mean, the only part I'm a fan of is when he. Oh, there you go. When he's on the motorcycle right into the stadium. That's like the best part.
Yeah, I agree. I never have been a fan of Oregon in my lifetime because of the constant uniform changes and the mascot.
But you have to admit, I read an article a couple of years ago. They talked about that kind of whole scheme, the whole idea. I mean, who in the hell was going to go to Eugene, Oregon anyway, right? Mm-hmm. So they had to come up with a gimmick. They had that Phil Knight money. Yeah. And they just said, hey, let's make a damn uniform for each freaking like literally that equipment manager. It has to be going nuts. I mean, he probably has like this huge whiteboard behind him with like arrows and lines. And okay, these shoes with this towel and this helmet and these pants. I mean, it's crazy.
Oh my God! I wonder if there is like a chart or a poster of all of their uniforms.
Well, you know, it's one of those things. Remember when you were a kid? It was like a magazine when you would like turn a page and it'd be like somebody's head would be like an astronaut, and then like the body would be like a cowboy. And the feet would be like a mailman or something like that, right? I'm sure at that point they just have like magnetic helmets and jerseys. They just kind of throw it up there. Okay, well, how is this going to look? You know, white helmet, green jersey, blue pants, you know, or pink pants, or whatever it is.
Anyway, the Ducks. I've never ever found myself. That's the one team I could say I've never found myself rooting for in a game. Mm-hmm. Ever. Anyway. Let's
Well,
go to
then,
number 15.
let's go.
I found
15.
myself rooting for this team, though.
Hey,
Number 15, Penn State.
now this is kind of interesting. Central Michigan.
Contrast.
There you go.
Never
I like
change a uniform.
Right. Which is actually, I love it.
Exactly.
I think, I mean, obviously I'm going to be a little biased in Notre Dame, but I think the top 3 uniforms, people can think I'm crazy. Penn State, number 1.
Yep.
Alabama, number 2.
Wow. Bama.
And Notre Dame.
And Notre Dame. You
and the
like
reason why
that.
Notre Dame's 3 is because they've done the Shamrock Series thing where they kind of changed up the jersey sometimes, the helmet. One year they had a leprechaun on the helmet. It's like, whoa, what are you doing? So that's the only reason why Notre Dame, like, normally blue and gold, let's just go out there and play, right? I mean, I could be very proud to say this. I've never worn the green, which is the green jersey, because we never had to say, oh, hey, we're going to be good against this team and we're green. We're like, really? Let's just go play. But so that's the reason why Notre Dame's number 3. But Penn State's my favorite uniform. Alabama, Notre Dame.
There you go. But you do like that simple.
Hey, man. First of all, just go play football. All right. I don't care if you're playing in T-shirts or shorts. Just go out there and play. Your uniform isn't going to make a damn bit of difference.
I like it.
I know. See, and that's why people are like, those are the weakest jerseys ever. Those are the weakest uniforms ever conceived in man. But guess what? They have great tradition. Great tradition.
I love the Penn State uniform with you. I agree.
Love it.
They still don't put the name on the back of the jersey,
which is awesome. Which I was kind of shocked about. Actually, we can talk about that. I was going to save that, but I'll just save it for later because I was kind of miffed about something about that I saw. But let's just save it for later. So let's go on. Penn State, Central Michigan, they beat them. Wasn't bad, great score. They had Northwestern. I'm saying be a little careful now. Although Northwestern, they kind of shit the bed a little bit here. Yeah. The idea, they need a comeback game. This will be a perfect opportunity for Northwestern to ruin Penn State's season. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm just saying kind of be on the watch because Northwestern needs something to kind of jump their season. So because they lost like the last 3 games. They played Nebraska in Ireland and beat them. And then they kind of lost to like 3 terrible teams. So not looking good for. It
turns out Nebraska wasn't very good to begin with as well.
Exactly. So they're going to need a lot of help. But here's Penn State fan. Let's go on to number 14.
Number 14, North Carolina State.
Now, again, I think we talked last week when who destroyed UConn last week? Was it Jim Harbaugh?
That was Michigan.
Yes, it was. So apparently they had 2 back-to-back pay games. Yeah. For UConn, and they just got destroyed in both. Here's the thing, like their quarterback Devin, what is it? Leary. Yeah. So he had 300 plus yards, which is great. But now we're going to see a test next week, which is going to be against Clemson.
Yep, their in-state rival.
This is the thing where they're kind of going to see where they stand in the ACC, right? So obviously Clemson is the best team. How well are you going to perform against the best? And so I think after that, they'll have an understanding of where – I mean, I'm not expecting them to win, but I want them to be competitive so they can measure kind of where they belong in that conference. And at the end of the day, who knows, maybe next year Clemson might be gone and they might be going to the SEC. So whoever can kind of come in second or topple Clemson might kind of take that reign over if they do, in fact, go to the SEC.
I like it. I agree with you. Huge game for them. You have to topple these household names. You have to topple them. And that's going to be, I'm sure, one of your favorite games this week. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it. Speaking of favorite games, let's go to number 13.
Number 13, Arkansas.
We were actually texting about this. This is a tough one because we are huge Arkansas fans. They wound up dropping 2 spots, but go ahead, Phil.
I was hurt because he's diving in, he's trying to make a play. That changes the whole game right there.
And you can't fault anybody for trying their best, right? I mean, that's the big thing. I mean, even when people fumble, right? I mean, he shouldn't have. What, really? Do you think he wanted to give up the ball? Do you think he wanted to give up the ball? He just got cracked, and so he couldn't do anything but let the ball go. So that's the frustrating thing about it.
And, a big game atmosphere. I just wanted to see Arkansas overcome. Jimbo Fisher's becoming that Star Wars bad guy from what was the guy with the hood? He's becoming that for me. Did you see him at the end with his son with all the gold chain? I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah, exactly. But I'm kind of sad to see them kind of. I mean, and I'm not sure what's going to happen next week because they do have Alabama, and I think it's going to be an interesting test for Alabama. It's going to be the toughest team they faced so far, but I think it's going to be a good game. So
it's going to be interesting to say the very least. Let's see this. This is a place I would like to go to.
Oh my
to
God.
See a football game right here.
Hate Rocky Top. Hate it.
Number 12, Tennessee.
Oh my God.
You don't like when the whole stadium's singing it? I think it's great.
My senior year, we go down to play Tennessee, and Coach Holtz had, for the week of Tennessee, he piped in Rocky Top.
Oh, there, Rocky Top.
For the whole practice. And that's for people. It wasn't just to get us pissed off, but it was to get the quarterback able to use hand signs and everything else. It gets too loud, whatever it was. But we hated it. So I still have flashbacks when people mention it. And it's funny because that was like the only real thing that I really remember about playing Tennessee was the damn song, right? But then like we've done it for other schools, but it just that it was just really irritating.
It's so irritating that it stays in your head.
Yes.
You find yourself singing it, and you're like, "What the hell?"
You're like, no,
don't.
But I mean, I'm excited for them.
Yes,
because this is the first time, or only the second time they beat him in like 17,000 years. Well, actually 17 years. But yeah, it's one of those things where do you really call it a rivalry if they're being dominated or what?
Let's see what they do, man.
So they wound up beating Florida, which is great. They have a bye now to kind of lick their wounds and get better for the next team. But I am excited for them. And again, another SEC team. Want to see them succeed, but hate the damn song.
Let's go back to number 11.
Number 11, Oklahoma.
Now, Phil, here's the problem. I felt as depressed about this game as I did about Arkansas.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not taking anything away from K-State, Kansas State. I mean, they obviously played a good game.
That little running back boy, man, 22.
Man. But in the Big 12, they don't know how to stop. They don't know how to play defense anyway. So,
right.
You knew that shit was going to happen. But here's the thing. Dylan Gabriel, the dude from Hawaii, so I'm not sure if he was a transfer now. I don't think he was. But he threw up 300 yards and 4 touchdowns, which is encouraging. But, dude, you can't lose to a non-ranked team in your freaking conference. You just can't.
I'm surprised you kept them in the Super 16 poll.
Well, they dropped 5. I mean,
I thought they were going to drop 45.
Only one team does that when they don't perform, right? And we all know who that team is, right?
Yes, I get it. You're looking at it from the big picture. That kid from Kansas State, the quarterback, who's the transfer from Nebraska, he played his tail off in
Yes.
that game down the stretch. I mean, there you talk about momentum changing plays. That was a great football game to watch. Let's go to. Oh, go ahead.
Well, no, I just want to say, but that's what makes it exciting, right? I mean, so for all the Kansas State fans going in there, they had no chance, right? But they kind of thought, well, hey, maybe we could, and those kids wound up doing it. They went out there.
Kurt Warner's kid.
They wound
plays
up playing
receiver.
their ass off, man. How cool is that?
It was honestly, it was one of the more entertaining games.
At Oklahoma, that's amazing.
At a kid number 22 from Kansas State, got to keep an eye on that kid. Speed burst and balance. Phil is biased. Hey, my son, I showed my son. I go, see? He's like, how tall? I go, he's about 5'6". He's like, oh, I'm going to be 6 foot, he said.
There you go.
I go, I hope. I go, well, you could see he's daddy's height. I'm an inch taller than him. And Shane probably would get pissed. Let's go to number 10, Chris.
Number 10, Baylor.
Now, they wound up moving 2 spots because they wound up beating a conference opponent in Iowa State. And here's the thing. So
in Iowa State.
In Iowa, exactly, which is tough because remember a couple of years ago, Iowa State was just rolling. Like for a while there, they were really kind of up there.
Yeah.
And I don't look ahead, but now they have to play a good Oklahoma State team who actually had a week off last week.
So they're going to be ready.
They will be ready for some real football. And I'm not sure if you remember, but toward the end of the year last year, it was a Baylor Oklahoma State trying to see who was going to represent the Big 12. So kind of interesting that rivalry is going to be there. Going to be a huge game. 3 touchdowns, which is great. They moved up 2 points, so we can go ahead and move to 9. One of your teams.
Number 9, Kentucky.
Hello. So I'm excited. I think kind of Kentucky's on that roll, man. Now, granted, they beat Northern Illinois, which isn't all that great. I mean, again, cool program, but they're in the MAC and they're playing a SEC team. So
gotta beat those teams, right?
Yes, you have to. As we saw, there are teams that could not, but the idea is again a great game coming up in Ole Miss. I mean, I think this week probably has the most in our poll, the most top teams playing each other.
Yes,
in the Super 16, which again is going to make for exciting football. Like you wouldn't expect. So on the top 5 games when we talk about it, I mean these are almost like conference championships or games you're waiting toward the end of the year. So I think it's going to be exciting.
That's what it's all about, right there. The matchups, the Super 16 poll show matchups.
One more thing I wanted to mention: Will Levis, I believe his last name is, 300 plus yards, 4 touchdowns, and hit the 1,000-yard mark already, which is the quarterback for Kentucky. So look out, Ole Miss.
Here, number 8.
Number 8, Ole Miss.
Again, kind of exciting, right? I mean,
there
here you have the team right there, neck and neck. Not only in my poll and some of those other polls, I mean, they're close. And so the idea is for exciting game. I mean, that's awesome. This is what college football is about. This is what you want kind of on a weekly basis, right? I mean, they want to playing, was it Tulane, Tulsa? Tulane. Or no, I'm sorry, Tulsa. But
Tulsa.
Wanting to be able to kind of get ready for the next game, I think it's going to be a huge matchup for them. And I think we're going to see some great football.
Ole Miss. This is where we find out. Yeah.
Our buddy Lane.
Lane's got to set the tone. And Kentucky, you've been overlooked for years since Tim Couch. How are you going to respond here? This is a huge game this weekend between two Super 16 poll show ranking with Chris Zorich, Ole Miss, Kentucky. How about number 7?
Number 7, Oklahoma State.
Again, kind of in that little kind of realm that 7, 8, 9, 10, they're all going to be playing each other. They had a bye week last week. They wound up moving up one. I just think all these games are going to be really exciting. And, for the Big 12, this is kind of a big deal for them, considering all the movement that's going on. Maybe they can kind of audition some of their teams for some of these super conferences or something like that.
This is especially with the new proposed big playoff brackets. These are the answers that we want to get. We want to see these answers here. Oklahoma State coming off a bye. Now they're going up against Baylor, and who's 10. So look at this right here, as you're saying, right bracketed in your poll. You're getting some matchups here, which shows
huge games.
These are.
Do we actually know what we're talking about? I mean, this is kind of cool, man. I mean, this is kind of the evolution of this opportunity we have. Like, we actually know what we're talking about. We got some good teams in there.
We do. I'm saying you do. I'm proud of you. Look at you.
We're a team, bro. We're a team. Yeah. We're a team. Team me.
I was worried about this team at number 6, man. I was nervous about it. I went to bed, waking up in the morning, having to watch what transpired, and I was like, uh-oh.
Number 6, USC.
So this is one of our first Heisman Watch quarterbacks.
Yes.
Who really didn't do Heisman quarterback opportunity chance here. I mean, he really kind of blew it here. But at this point, you're talking about you just want to win the game and get the hell out of it. Because if you lose, you're going to drop, and the exposure and everything else. I mean, he only had 180 yards. I mean, even though he just went over the 1,000-yard mark so far, this is kind of the game where they should have won this. I mean, who the hell is Oregon State? But they almost lost it.
I've always opposite of Oregon. I've always had a special place for Oregon State.
Sure.
The Beavers.
The Beavers. There you go. Beavers. At least you can make an aggressive beaver. But
exactly.
I don't think you can make
How much wood could a wood? Oh, no, that's not a beaver.
There you go. It's a woodchuck, same thing, right? They have teeth. Teeth and hair.
The Oregon State Beavers, close. It came down to the offensive line push, Chris.
Amazing.
Think about that. That game came down. And remember the famous Reggie Bush push. The Bush push.
What school was that against?
That was against Notre Dame.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. I may have been there for that game. Yeah. I do have to say that game.
Yeah.
There was a prep rally the night before. It was the largest. I think they had like 40,000
Brady Quinn,
people.
Right?
Yes. They had like 40,000 people at the prep rally the night before the game. It was crazy. I had never seen anything like that before. It was insane.
At Notre Dame. I'd love to get there one day to see this.
Hey, man, just let me know, bro.
I know. One day.
Let me know.
We'll find it. The Rainbow Connection.
Wow. Now, SC, I'm going to go back to the football, considering this is a football show. Thank you. This is not a Disney program. We're talking about they're playing Arizona State. It's going to be another win. They have no coach. Arizona State doesn't have a coach. They have an interim. We all know what happens when that happens. But again, this is going to be an opportunity for SC to kind of get back, right? Caleb should throw up like 400 yards or something like that, and really he should be in the hunt. Not saying he's out. I mean, he will not be out because he's having a great year. But throwing up 180 yards, and almost losing to an unranked team when you're in the top 10 should not happen at all. And we all know what happens when that happens. You drop and you get bounced out of the polls like Notre Dame did because they lost against Marshall.
Now, who do they have this weekend, you said?
Notre Dame?
Notre Dame
They're
versus...
on a bye.
No, I'm saying USC. Who do they...
USC. They have Arizona State.
That's right. Arizona State. Herm Edwards gets fired. Loses to Eastern Michigan, I believe it was.
Western New Hampshire or something like that, yeah.
Oh, my God.
They
got a lot of problems over there.
Yes.
There you go.
And it's frustrating because the AD actually came from the NFL.
Yeah.
And they hired Herm, and they were really running it kind of like a professional team. But I guess they're finally finding out that 18-year-olds are unlike grown-ass men who get paid for a living. Well, I don't know. I guess the 18-year-olds are getting paid now too. So
I don't know what happened. A buddy of mine coaches at Arizona State.
Oh, well, let's hope he still has a job.
Well, he does. He's the offensive line coach there, but we'll see. We'll see.
As soon as somebody new gets in there, they might,
I know. Number 5, Chris.
Number 5, Clemson.
My boy DJ, everybody's doubting his ass. He threw 5 touchdowns.
He came to play.
370 yards. Can somebody please acknowledge him that he's in the room, please?
I will say, I've been doubting him.
People were doubting his ass.
I wanted to see him step up.
Now, again, I mean, you're not supposed to be going into 2 overtimes with Wake Forest, but the idea, and we were on the bandwagon last year. Wake Forest was a good team.
Yeah, they played them tough. They had it won. Could have won this game, Wake. Who? I have no idea
Clemson?
who HL was playing. They were playing Wake Forest.
Yeah.
Ranked 25 in another poll. They didn't hit the 16 mark with Zorich, I'll tell you that. But again.
Well, you know me, man.
Those Wake Forest Demon Deacons.
Hey, there you go.
See, Demon Deacons.
That is another mascot you can make looking tough.
Oh, I saw Wake Forest play Army at West Point.
Okay.
It was nice. They brought their band there, and they had a couple NFL prospects that I was scouting at the time, and there was a great vibe from the Wake Forest fans. They travel with their team. It was a good time. Obviously, it's not like Notre Dame or Clemson, but hey, Wake Forest. They're turning that coach is turning that program around, getting some talent there. We saw it last year. We were pulling for him.
Absolutely. And we all know about the whole quarterback story with overcoming the cancer.
Yeah. So. I was cheering for Wake Forest to pull this out, to be honest.
See? Of course you were. We all were. Actually, Pat Terrell's son is on the team, so we're
really
about that. Yeah. Yep.
Former lights out Notre Dame safety. I'll tell you that when he was with the Rams.
There you go. You have
a good memory. God. Oh, I remember him. He was
speaking about Notre Dame. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
He was like 225 pounds. Just had great range and just physical at the point of attack. Like great safety.
And the running joke, and he also makes fun of this too, is that you go in his basement, he has like a shrine to himself, and he loves talking about himself. And he has a whole section on Notre Dame and his plays against Miami. And literally he talks about how like no one else knew anything else that he did throughout the year except for bat down that one pass at the end of the game, right? I mean, folks didn't even know that he actually returned a touchdown in that game as well. Folks forget about that, right?
They forget the big pick.
But he just like literally, I mean, and of course he's up in the air knocking it down. And of course we all made fun of him and said he should have caught it, but we all know that he can't catch. So.
Hands of steel.
He tells us a great story, and he is a great storyteller, but he talked about it was his first year or not his first year, second year. Tony was at quarterback, and he was at receiver backing up Tim Brown. Or no, he was starting on the other side of Tim Brown.
Yeah.
And Tony threw him a pass. He missed it, and Luke Holtz kind of ran down there, and he was like, man, he's gonna get all over me. And Lou ran right past Pat and went to Tony's like, Tony, if your ass throws that ball one more time to Pat Taylor, your ass think I'm playing anymore. His ass can't catch. So he's a decoy for Tim Brown. So it was kind of funny.
Let's go to number 4.
Well, actually, hold on.
Oh, you got another one.
Well, I just wanted to kind of do my little Notre Dame thing before we hit the top pick here, since we're doing like this kind of Notre Dame segue here. They played North Carolina.
Number 47, Notre Dame.
Wow. I was waiting for that one. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So you are so bad. So bad. They actually won a game.
They won.
And they scored a hell of a lot more points than we had seen them in a long time, which literally is 45.
They're putting it together.
Hey, they are, but they still have some challenges.
Yeah.
Offensive line showing some improvement. They were just rolling on them, and at one point I was kind of literally yelling at the TV, just, hey, let's not even throw the ball. Let's just dominate their ass and just roll on them every play. But I know that's not exciting for folks. So,
hey, if that's what it takes to win, you got to do it.
But I think that the guys needed this win. Marcus needed this win. It was one that he could actually pat himself on the back. He did well as a head coach. Of course, there were some instances where there should have been some different plays being called. But the idea now that folks aren't all over Tommy Rees now either, because after the first couple of games they wanted his ass fired, but now they're actually like allowing him to kind of have peace because they think he could actually call the game now.
We'll see how long that lasts, Chris. Let's go to number 4.
You're killing
Number 4, Michigan.
I think we'll just say Michigan. There we go.
There he is.
There we go.
There he is.
Maryland? Come on, man.
Nail biter, Chris.
Man, that's not supposed to happen.
Nervous.
They're 4.
I was at the Durham Fair in Connecticut with like 100,000 people watching it on my phone as I'm walking around. Where's the kettle corn, please? That's all I wanted.
Not a chance.
And I could not believe this game.
What the hell?
Is that Tua's brother over there?
Yep. He was at Alabama.
This kid was balling out there.
Yes. And an interesting story. The head coach, I forgot his name, at Maryland, was the offensive coordinator at Alabama. And then he left to take the Maryland job. And to his brother was like,
right with him.
Right, exactly. And
roll with you.
He's really, really doing well. But again, come on, Michigan. I mean,
hey, they pulled it off. They pulled it off in the end, but you're right. They gotta. We thought this was going to be a
also
layup.
have to talk about the 200 plus or 240 plus yards from running back too. That was crazy, which I'm sure you enjoyed.
Yeah, I enjoyed how they ran the ball. Like I said, do whatever it is. At the end of the day, these stories become just numbers. How many wins, how many losses? As you get moving into November, that's why, to your point, it's so important that Notre Dame win and continue to win, and same with all these other teams. Because even the number 1 team in the country might have had some struggles.
Against the MAC team.
Let's go to number 3.
Number 3, Alabama.
Bama.
Oh.
Alabama as in Alabama.
Alabama.
Bryce Young, 385 yards, 2 touchdowns. No, I'm sorry, 4 touchdowns. Okay, so now
4.
this is, again, there's another Heisman Watch guy. And
Yeah.
we're not that channel that does like a Heisman Watch. And but this guy is amazing. Amazing.
Yes.
Won it last year. Has the ability to kind of do it. And of course, he's not thinking about it. But again, once again, I love him because he's just so calm, cool, and collective.
I'm with you, man. I don't know what people see. I see a guy that is a natural thrower, anticipates, is calm in the biggest of moments. It's not like he's just throwing it up to an uber talented guy. He's going to find the open guy and make some plays. And that's what I really enjoy about watching his game. To your point, I'm trying to think of a player to compare him to, but it's really to see such a mature young man play the position. He's only going to grow from here. Just think about that. There's a natural Tom Brady-esque thing about this kid, in my eyes, that he just understands the game at a level where others don't. And he's able to deliver it. And it might look so relaxed to people and they don't appreciate it, but that's my number one guy right there.
How could you not want to be on the team with that guy?
I don't know.
I mean, he reminds me a lot of Jalen Hurts. There was a game, I think it was last year. I tweeted this because I thought it was just awesome. I saw it was 3 years ago when he was at Alabama. After a game, he went back to the weight room to work out. Can I have that guy on my team? Can I get that dude?
Well, Justin Fields left. I guess he went and did a workout last night. Filmed it.
He filmed it. Now, what's his face was catching balls?
Oh, yeah. He went out onto the field with the jugs machine.
Yes. How about that?
Hey. Just says a lot about his character.
Well, and then it's one of those things where in practice, instead of doing push-ups, if you miss a ball, then your ass gets on the jug machine after the game in your uniform. Which
he did drop that ball over the middle on a thing where it wasn't the greatest of passes, but you got to make that catch.
Sure.
So we'll see. And then he dropped another bubble screen, especially when passes are limited. You got to make every goddamn catch you possibly can.
You got to make everyone count, right?
Exactly.
Terrible.
Let's go to number 2.
Terrible.
Number 2, Ohio State.
Need I say Wisconsin, who I thought was a good team, not a great, a good team.
Yeah.
52 points. So here's what I'm saying. With Michigan, your first Big Ten opponent, you score. What did Michigan score? I mean, they actually barely won, right? Let's say by 10. Okay, fine. You win by 10. But then Ohio State plays their first Big Ten opponent, and you see what happens. So I'm not going to make any predictions, but
now they get into the heart of the battles now. There's no.
And here's our third Heisman Watch person.
Yes.
CJ Stroud, 5 touchdowns, 285. Okay,
5.
Throwing up the numbers. 5, not 3, not 4, but 5.
And as Richard Gordon is saying, they steamrolled, and they were hitting out there. It was a massacre.
Oh, see, this is why I like this game, man.
Yes.
I'm getting fired up, man.
You got to get ready.
Fired up.
Getting you ready. Fired up.
Now, CJ went over the 1,200-yard mark.
Yep.
Not a lot of quarterbacks are doing that. But, however, they're going to be playing Rutgers, so imagine what that score is going to be. I think it's going to be in the damn 70s, man. Because they're the one thing I got to say about Ohio State, which I admire the hell out of, they do not let up.
That's what I was going to
man,
ask you. Will they pull
we're gonna go
Stroud?
play, if you're going to, well, I mean, I would pull him, but still, I mean, their second team guy,
Yeah.
I'm sure is a 4-star guy, right? He's going to throw some numbers too.
I'm sure.
I would absolutely protect Stroud as much as I could, but the idea that they're not going to let up, right? They're not going to take the boot off the dude's throat, which you want. I don't care. If people are complaining about Ohio State in the Big Ten putting up too many points, get better. Recruit against them.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Rutgers, the head coach. What's his name?
Former he was with the Bears.
Yeah. What's his name? God damn it.
I envision his face.
He went with the Patriots too.
Yeah.
He built Rutgers program up, and then he bounced.
Yes. He bounced to go get the NFL job.
Then he went to college. Then he's back.
Yes. Okay, I totally forgot his name.
I can see it.
Yeah,
somebody in the chat. Trevi, remember?
Wow, Trevi. No,
I can't remember his name. Anyway, let's go to number 1.
Number 1, Georgia.
Okay, all I got to do is say Stetson Bennett didn't have an awesome game. Yeah, he had a good game. Greg Schiano. There you go. See,
there you go.
Yeah,
Bullets knew. Bullets knew
there
first to give him credit.
So we have Stetson Bennett, who's on our Heisman watch for a whole different array of reasons. Although he's hit that 1,200-yard mark already.
Yep.
But we love him because his ass is a scrapper, and he refuses to hear the word no.
He's the opposite of the second-string quarterback at Ohio State. He's not a 4-star.
Right. He's the guy that they told him to go transfer. He was at a junior college. They said, man, come back. He said, you're not going to play. Sat the bench. Won a damn national champion. Are you kidding me?
He's the 1-star on the Chinese menu. 1 star. Not very spicy.
Well, I agree, Jason. But if you look at the Heisman as a whole, what's the better story, right?
I agree.
I love the story. I'm not saying he should get it. I mean, we're only in week 4, and I hate doing that, right? Because I was out there playing, and you hate for prognosticators and people in the media go, "Oh, let's do the Heisman watch on week 2." Really? Come on, that's not even fair.
Exactly.
But now that we're part of that media, that conglomerate who criticizes and talks about these young kids who are 18 years old, we feel that there's some people that should get that recognition, and I think Stetson Bennett should. So,
hey, Stetson won the national championship.
Enough said right there. Now, we're not going to dog Georgia because, being facetious here, they freaking only beat Kent State by like 12 points or something like that, which is ridiculous.
Kent State was battling in there.
But see, here's the thing, though. And I sat there and thought about it and was like, hey, what about Ohio State moving up, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, had Wisconsin been ranked,
you would have.
I absolutely would have. Absolutely would have. Why? Because they showed it, right? I mean, you can't have. I mean, we after Alabama just beat Texas, they dropped, and now they're 3. They were 1. Or no, they were 2. I'm sorry.
Right. You dropped them though.
You have to, man. All right.
It's Georgia. Number 1, let's review his rankings. Last week, you saw the rankings right there.
There we go.
App State is gone.
Who?
Who goosed the moose? Now this week,
hello,
you can see the changes. Oregon 16, Penn State 15, 14 is NC State, the Wolfpack. 13, Arkansas. 12, Tennessee, the Volunteers, Ron. 11, Oklahoma. 10, Baylor. 9, Kentucky. 8, Ole Miss. 7, Oklahoma State. 6, USC.
Wow.
5, Clemson. 4, Michigan. Go Blue, Sheree. 3, Alabama. Roll Tide. 2, Ohio State. The Buckeyes.
Georgia.
I don't even understand their mascot, but that's a whole nother story. Number 1, Georgia. The Bulldogs. Georgia.
It is going to be an exciting week 5 for folks. I think it's going to. As we alluded to during the whole damn 16, right? I mean, half the teams are in there, and they're like in that really realm of like 7 to like 10 or 7 to 12. But my first one is going to be Alabama at number 13, Arkansas.
There it is.
I mean,
Bama.
It's they have a chance, right? I mean, they go out. If Texas can do it,
that's right. Arkansas is coming off a major disappointing flat tire loss. Like, come on, right there.
There it is.
That would have just set up an epic.
They could change everything.
Oh my God, that would have set up an epic matchup. But yes.
The second one is number 14, North Carolina. At 5, Clemson. I think, again, you mentioned it, Phil.
North Carolina State.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry, North Carolina State. Sorry.
I just want to, I don't want anyone trolling you.
The Wolfpack, sorry.
The Wolfpack.
There you go. See, again, another cool-ass mascot. See, both cool mascots, man.
Oh, yeah. Where is that game? At NC State?
No, it's at Clemson.
Oh, they're going into Death Valley,
baby. Death Valley, baby.
Uh-oh. Is the coach going to be running out the tunnel?
I mean, he's going to run another 4-5, man.
Down a hill.
Someone
clock him versus Orlovsky.
Hello.
Can have a race.
There you go. Next one is number 4, Michigan at Iowa. The reason why this one's in there. I'm a little nervous. And this is the reason why I put him in.
Nervous.
I put him in. This is the reason why.
Iowa.
Come on, man.
Iowa always
tough. They're playing tough.
They'll always lose like to Iowa State, Eastern Michigan.
Yep. At Iowa.
But then when Michigan comes to play, Iowa can always pull an upset on them. I hear you. I like this.
If we had upset
alerts, shaking her head. She's nervous.
As she should be.
No, she's not. She believes in her Wolverines. I don't know. Big Blue. This is a big game for Michigan. I agree with you.
Yes, it is.
I agree with you.
The next game is our number 9 Kentucky against number 8 Ole Miss. Again,
talked
about it.
Maybe the game. I'm setting my alarm to watch that game. I want to see Big Lane, House of Lane versus Kentucky. Kentucky's not afraid. Let's see how they get down. That's going to be a great game.
Again, Phil, I mean, we're in here talking like from 7 to like 10, 11 or something like that. I mean, they're playing each other. Like, how often does that? That's great. And they're ranked high. I mean, this means a great week of practice. Kids paying attention. Pardon me?
Is it at Ole Miss?
It is, yep.
Oh, even better. I just love watching the game from there. On TV, it looks great.
I heard the tailgating. That's one of the. That's what's
Everybody
one of my.
Says that. Shane, I'm surprised he's not here.
Phenomenal. I heard. Amazing.
Oh,
they actually did a thing on ESPN a couple of years ago where they showed like people running out like the night before, kind of setting up their tailgating area. Okay, last one. We mentioned it before. We got number 7, Oklahoma State against 10, Baylor again. Big game.
Big game players making big game plays in the biggest of games. Oklahoma State coming off the bye, number 7 in the Zopo.
The
Super 16
Zopo. There we go. So now we're just doing
I'm giving you nicknames as
right,
you go.
exactly. So what? I didn't have it as a kid, so now you gave me one. Zopo.
Yo, can we get a T-shirt, Acevedo? The Zopo
Zopo? Wow.
on TTNL.
Please stand under my arm in there. The Zopo.
I gotta admit, like, to open the show, because I have had a long day, as I told you. That song just gets me ready for the show.
I'm telling you, man.
Like,
see, isn't it great?
You look at Chris like this, like a pixie scientist. I was like, let's go.
There you go, man. Gets me pumped.
It gets me pumped up with the drums, the cool Kennedy music.
Yes.
I don't mean to cut you off like a Zorich jersey.
See,
I love
that.
I love that lyric.
I mean, the first time I saw it, man, I was just stunned. Excuse me, first time I heard it, I was stunned. I was like, this is freaking awesome. It was incredible.
It was.
And of course, all my guys were like, dude, send it to me. So all my teammates, they all have it. They all love it. They don't.
We got to get some of these guys on.
That'd be great.
That would be. Tony Rice. I was a huge fan.
Football. Okay, I can get to one.
Tony Rice with the mesh.
Yes, Tony does not watch college football, so he's not going to know anything about college football.
But he could teach how important the mesh is.
Okay.
And that he was one of the best. I think Jamel Holloway was the best mesh, but Tony was right there. Like, it's close. It's close. And that's me being honest, because I had to learn as a back to be at that mesh point. My dad would flip out about the mesh point. You better get to that mesh point to give that read. So, yeah, Jeepers Creepers.
Jeepers Creepers.
Great stuff. Great matchups.
There we go.
Great story. We talked Bears. We did it all. But we need an intro for
yes, we do. We do.
With Chris Zorich. Deep thought.
Let's work on that for this week.
Could we work on that?
I guess we can't we?
I can. I have two guys, three guys.
You can supervise?
I'll supervise them because I have so many things I'm doing. But tomorrow night, Wednesday night, we're going to have former Bears cornerback Todd McMillan.
Hey, all right.
Runway. They call him Runway. He's a model and a corner. Did you play with Todd or no? You didn't.
I did not.
No.
I'm very old.
He was younger than you.
I'm very old. Yes. Thank you, Phil. I'm like 53.
I didn't say anything.
I'm old. Thank you.
No, don't. You look great, man. Keep it up.
I appreciate that.
Great pictures today. Pictures at the Bears tailgate. I saw you out there with the peeps.
Yes. Having a fun. Blast. Hanging out with the people. You know who I saw?
Who?
Hanging out. I was there for like 5
minutes.
George.
George? Yes. I guess.
Run into him.
I guess.
What
did he say?
Fist bumping everybody. Just excited.
Did he talk to you a little bit?
Yeah, he did. We spent some time hanging out,
What do you think today, George? I think we're going to win. Lovey's coming back, George.
It's just so, like, I've heard about it, but I've never seen him in that element. That's hilarious.
What was it like? Give me
I'm just saying, he's the chairman of the damn team, and he's out there 2 hours before a game, like, hanging out with the fans. Like, who does that?
That's true. That's true. Well, does he own the team or does his mom own the team?
Well, his title says chairman. Okay.
I know. I'm trying to figure this all out. I would love to have him on our show.
Okay.
And talk to him.
That probably won't happen. Sorry.
Well, he can talk.
I don't have that much pull. I
know you don't. I'm gonna see him and ask him.
Okay. You're gonna randomly bump into him when you're here for the Detroit game?
No, I'm going to see him. I promise you.
Okay.
That's more details to come on that later.
Interesting. All right.
Yes. But yes, we're going to be out in Detroit. You're setting it up, right? The South Lot, right? Is that where we're going to be? Or is it? What's the name of it?
You didn't ask me to get stuff for the South Lot, bro.
What's I don't know. I was just throwing that out.
I'm working on it. It's Waldron.
Waldron, my bad.
Yes. Come on, man. On, man.
Listen, I'm learning. I think the new Arlington Heights Stadium is going to be a lot bigger to tailgate.
Yeah, that's going to take a couple of years to get done. You kidding me?
So I went to, I've always gone to the Meadowlands or
Mhm.
New England, as growing up. So the parking lot is huge and you could literally play football and like have touch games
Right.
in between the parking lot area. People are putting up cones, they're challenging you. You got
Wow.
grills going on. I come to Chicago and I'm like, this is the tightest fucking lot I've
Dude,
ever.
it was. I mean,
It's
like there
tight
were
out there.
cars.
Yes.
Like, there were cars like this close.
Oh my God. You can't even open your door.
Yeah,
You gotta do a Richard Simmons workout before you get out of that car.
You gotta go through the back.
Claudia was climbing out the trunk.
See? It's crazy, man.
It is crazy, but it's a lot of fun out there. I love the Bears show. Also, no mention of 98-0. What is 98-0?
I didn't see I didn't see that one.
Bring her in. Are you ready to come in or no? She will come in to address this. Here she is.
Hello.
That was the game. Warren, I forgot who beat them, but yeah, it was. The score was 98-0, and they were like they could have scored 100 if the team that was up hadn't taken a knee. College football, 98.
College. Oh my God,
I
Chris.
That one is not going to be my final thoughts. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we can't end on that. 98-0. I have a problem with.
Stephen F. Austin won. It was Stephen F. Austin against like Warren or something like that.
Wow.
Warren G's kid was playing out there.
Okay, here we go.
I'm kidding. 98-0. I do have a problem with.
Yes.
Let's see if we can get. We need a song, Cool Kennedy, as well. A very mellow song. Chris Zorich's final thoughts. Final thoughts with Chris Zorich.
Well, they're really not that kind of. Okay, there we go. See, something like that. I like that.
We're trying it.
And really, and I sent you a text about this. I don't like when teams fire the coaches during the year, especially in college.
Right.
It's really tough. And if you knew, I mean, you can't tell me that one game is going to make a difference, right? So you lose to a really bad team, so basically Marshall, right? Or you lose to a terrible team. You can't fire that guy. So We've seen it at Nebraska. We've seen it at Arizona State. We've seen it at Georgia Tech, right? I mean, now you're talking about the players. I mean, you can't do that during the season because it's now people say, well, when you do it in the off season, right? I mean, you can't tell me that a person who was really successful the previous year and they lose against, so let's say Georgia lose against Penn State, they're not going to fire that guy.
Right.
So is consistently they've been losing. So before that, and if you're gonna, bitch about contracts and stuff like that, well then, I mean, man up and do it when it's a better time for the kids.
Yes.
Not necessarily for you in your pocketbook, but the hard part is these kids it's gonna be challenging for them with direction, discipline, their parents, their friends.
Yeah, exactly.
How does the game plan, unless you adapt everything that went on with the same guy you had before to make it consistent, then why fire him? So that's my thing is that, like, all these people, and of course the comments are like, oh, he's a great guy, he's a wonderful person, we wish him luck. This is a great guy, wonderful person, we asked him to fire him. I mean, let's just be honest here, right?
Exactly.
Come on.
Just play it out.
Come on, man. Or if not, fire. I mean, do it in the off season. Right?
If there's a scandal, then yeah, I get it. You want to get
that's
clear
totally
that
that's totally
it's completely different. But
right.
a loss to Eastern Michigan.
Right.
You had all this drama with Herm, just using Herm before with all this. Why didn't you fire him then?
Exactly. Right.
Just goes to show you winning and losing is the most important.
Oh, and it's a shame
programs.
Because you're talking about you have young adult males that are have obviously bought in, and now all of a sudden you're saying, hey, your leader, your mentor gone. Oh, by the way, you have to get ready to play. You have to get ready to play USC in 4 days. I mean, come on, really? Like,
ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying. The game is going to be like 70-0. Cam's going to come out in the first half. I mean, it's just not going to be fair to these kids. So you can kind of scratch this year. At least the career for these kids is going to be gone. And of course, you got fifth-year seniors and seniors that are never going to have a chance to play again. And this is the memory they're going to have.
Couldn't have said it better.
So that was. I just feel for the kids. Being there, it's tough. A coaching change is tough anyway, but during this season, it's even worse.
Listen, nobody does it like Chris Zorich
And
does.
one more time,
Does
sorry,
it
as a former athletic director,
yes.
I mean, I cared about those kids, and I understand. Hey, there's an issue with contract and stuff like that. I mean, if we're truly supposed to be responsible for these young men and young women, let's if you want to make that transition, if you want to make a coaching change, do it at the appropriate time.
There you go.
There you go. Damn it.
He said it all. Chris
All right.
Zorich. Every week here on TTNL, as well as the Christopher Zorich YouTube channel.
Hello.
Go over there, subscribe to that, his Twitter account. We're going to get it all together over here. We're even going to get his Facebook.
Eventually,
going
my Facebook page.
Shane's like, he's got to do it. I'm going to get it done. I promise. This
Sure
week,
you are.
we're
Sure
going
you
to
are.
get it done.
There you
For
are.
next Monday, we'll be back breaking down the next Super 16 poll show with Chris Zorich.
Love it.
Tomorrow night, check out Keeping It Fantasy here on TTNL. Ivan, Claudio, and that guy that don't do, can I swear? No.
Sure.
You don't do S. Chris Jackal will take you through the fantasy football world tomorrow night. I'm Keeping It Fantasy. But today, we kept it real. Another great show. College football is back each and every week. There's no letdowns. I mean, it finished
Seriously,
off
there's
with USC, Oregon State. I wish I was able to stay up that late to watch that game. It turned out to be a classic comeback and win. We're going to see what happens this weekend. Follow Chris's top 5 matchups. And yes, Cool Kennedy, we're going to get some music and an intro for Deep Thoughts with Chris Zorich for next week. For my guy, Chris Zorich, and our girl in the back producing, keeping everybody updated on the latest information, 98-0 and everything. Go Blue. Cherie, I'm your guy, Draft Dr. Phil. We'll see you next week on the Christopher Zorich Super 16 Show. Thanks for watching the Super 16 Poll Show with Chris Zorich. Like, subscribe, and comment. This has been a special presentation of the Tape Never Lies Network. Performance over politics.
It's on the script.